What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to the Crypto Catch Up. Of course, your number one place to catch up on crypto. Well, today is Monday and it's another week in the bull market, so I want to start you off right and fresh, going over basically everything. We're going to take a quick look at the technicals, a quick look at the fundamentals, and a quick look at some massive news that is released recently that's absolutely shocking the market right now. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's catch up on crypto. Now, today we're going to start off with the technicals, then we're going to go into the fundamentals, then we're going to go into the news. So first and foremost, what we can see here from Bitcoin specifically, because that's what we're going to focus in on today, is the fact that its price is still within that red zone that I told you about in the last catch up. I told you all, hey, listen, Bitcoin right now is in a very, very essential spot. We're in between a 1.272 Fibonacci extension zone and the $100,000 zone. I told you that this red box is going to be one of the most determining factors for a very, very long time, in my opinion. I think if Bitcoin gets rejected off of here, there's a decent chance that we do venture downwards for a little while, maybe try to find a higher low, and then eventually break it. But if Bitcoin breaks 100K, at that point, I think that's when chaos ensues, because it just, you don't really, you can't tell what happens after that. There's one piece of me that thinks that absolute, just, what's the word that I'm looking for? Euphoria is a good one, obviously, but it's almost like mania. Like, I think mania could start after that, because the news would be talking about it, everyone would be talking about it, everything would be going crazy. But then on the flip side of it, I'm like, who wouldn't take profits if Bitcoin clears 100K? I surely would start taking some more profits off the table. And so for me, it's like, I just don't know what would happen above 100K. And so because of that, we're just watching like a hawk, like, okay, what happens next? To be honest with you guys, I hope we see Bitcoin's price pull back. I'd love to see a Bitcoin come back towards like $86,000, $85,000. And the reason being is because, one, it prolongs the bull market, but two, it gives it a bit of a better foundation and a better, kind of base, so that when it does want to make that move, we have more support below us that can support a move above that level to sustain above that level. So I personally do hope it comes down here, but quite frankly, I got no idea what's going to happen. And so because of that, we've just been watching it like a hog to see what happens in this zone, because I think, again, this is going to be very determining of where we go from here and what comes next. Now, as a result of this, and as a result of Bitcoin somewhat slowing down a little bit, we have started to see the general market kind of cooling down a bit. If we go to the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, one thing that's interesting is that we're in extreme greed right now, but if you go to, say, our 4-hour RSIs on, say, like the 24 hours, this has started to back up a little bit. Because remember, it was all the way up here. I mean, we saw this bad boy all the way in the overbought area. On the 24-hour and even on the weekly, we were a bit higher. And we're starting to, oh, look, sorry, let me bring that back a little bit. You can see that we are starting to see those kind of cool down a little bit. Your average RSI is pulling back on the weeklies back towards that neutral zone, and we are seeing that 24-hour RSI back in the strong zone. So although we are still very high, don't get me wrong, I mean, we're very extended to the top side, not only just on Bitcoin, but the majority of cryptos. We are seeing some sort of reset, some sort of cool down happening here with Bitcoin that is impacting the rest of the market. And again, I think that's a good thing. You want to see these moments where your indicators can start to reset, where your bulls can cool down a little bit, because those are the types of moves, those cool downs are the types of moves that will lead to sustainable price movement over a longer period of time. I don't want to see this bull market, here today and gone tomorrow. I don't want it to just be one of these. I'd love for it to be one of these, right? If we can get something like this, it would be fantastic, because it's more money that just gets made. Simple as that. And so because of that, I am liking what I'm seeing here from a technical perspective. And of course, it is being backed up by the fundamentals as well, which we'll jump into next. Now, guys, don't forget, if you do want to trade a little Bitcoin yourself on up to 500x leverage, even though I highly recommend you do not go all the way up to 500x leverage, you can check out this link to the BTC Exchange down below. Guys, when you do deposit for the first time anywhere from $500 to $100,000, they're going to give you a 10% bonus. So say you deposit $2,000, they're going to give you $200 back to trade right there on the spot. And say you turn that $200 into $600, all that profit is yours. You can withdraw it, spend it, reinvest it, do whatever you want with it. It's all yours, no strings attached. This is one of the best deals that I've ever put together before. So do go check that out down below. In addition to that, you will get up to $10,000 in bonuses and credits, but that real money comes from that 10% bonus on first time deposits. I do about 30 to 40% of my trading on BTCC, so I'd love it if you guys go check that out down below and let me know what you think. Now, with that in mind, let's dive into the fundamentals now, so we can get an idea of where everything is at. So from a fundamental perspective, what we can see is that, yes, this crypto market is still very high right now. I mean, obviously, if we do zoom in a little bit, you can see Crypto Fear and Greed Index is still, it had that one moment where we pushed to 93. That was a little concerning. But, right now, it's just kind of balancing in the zone. What I've told you all pretty consistently recently is that the fact that the market's in greed isn't what scares me, okay? Because, this doesn't bother me. What gets me concerned, what gets me a little scared is when it starts jumping. When the market starts jumping all over the place, that's when I get concerned. But in these little periods where we're going just sideways, right, stable greed, that's fine with me. I mean, let's go look back to the last bull market. You can see what I mean. Whenever we were pumping in the last bull market, look what was going on, right? I mean, we'd spent months and greed. And the market was just going upwards. So being in greed doesn't mean that the market has to go down. It just means that it's not the best time to be buying. And at any given point, it could go down. So where we are right now, not super concerning, but obviously it doesn't tell that, buying as much Bitcoin as you possibly can right now may not be the best idea. History says buying in moments where people are a little bit more worried is clearly better. And so because of that, that's kind of where we are there. Now, as a result of this, over the last 24 hours, what we can see here is that people actually have not really cared all too much. People are closing down their short trades. They're opening on those long trades. People are they're buying right now. They're bullish right now. And a lot of it is flowing into the altcoins. If you do look at Bitcoin dominance at this exact moment, we've actually seen Bitcoin dominance break to the downside recently and possibly continue even lower. And so what it seems to me is happening right now is that's the earlier stages of that shift from Bitcoins to altcoins is beginning right now. And as a result of it, this market is getting, kind of overheated a little bit. But gladly, as I mentioned before, Bitcoin is somewhat cooling off a little bit. Altcoins are also somewhat cooling off a little bit. And so although that liquidity cycle is happening, it's not too much, right? It's not too much. We're not saying too much happening at once. Sure, people are favoring the bullish side. Sure, people are going long on these different cryptos. Sure, all of those things are happening, but it doesn't feel to me like it's being too far. I don't feel like we're in peak euphoria, especially over the last couple of days right now. I wouldn't say that. It feels like people are naturally shifting a bit, and that's totally fine with me. Now, if we see crypto fear and greed jump to 97, and then we see a bunch of cryptos hitting all-time highs, and then we go out to, the RSI Heat Map in the 24-hour and the weeklies, those bad boys are sitting in the top of the overbought box, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But right now, we're not there yet. We're a little bit below that. Things have cooled down a little bit. So I don't think we're in like a peak euphoria area right now. So I'm not super concerned about what this market is going to do. Now, the last thing that I do want to look at from more of a Bitcoin perspective is what's happening on the liquidation map, because it is actually a good thing. What you can see here is that as we have been seeing Bitcoin's price cool down a little bit, liquidations have been building on the shorter time frames to the upside. And you guys know I'm a major proponent that the area in which you see the most liquidations is the area in which you're the most likely to go. And so although there are a bunch of liquidations below us entailing that we could go a little bit lower, there is seemingly some sort of move to the upside brewing. Whenever you have this many people, billions of dollars that are going to get liquidated if this market goes up and you're in a bull market, it becomes much more and more likely that you will go up. And so I do love to see this little shift. There are more liquidations to the downside on every single time frame, so it's not a major shift, but it is a good enough shift to catch my attention, and it's at least worth noting that we're going to see a lot of liquidations if Bitcoin hits 100, so we very well might see it give it a try. Okay, so overall, from a fundamental perspective, my general thesis is that people are shifting a little bit from Bitcoin into altcoins, especially while Bitcoin has been cooling down. The thing is, though, while Bitcoin has been cooling down, the rest of the market has also been cooling down a little bit, and that's a good thing, because if we're going to shift to altcoins, we want to do it sustainably. We don't want to see a euphoric shift to alts that lasts like 2 days and they crash. No, we want to see them. You want to see that liquidity slowly funnel its way into the altcoins, and that's kind of what it seems like is happening. Sure, we're in the extreme greed area right now. That can be a little scary, but we've been here for months at a time before, so you just have to be aware that you probably shouldn't be throwing every single dollar in your life savings at crypto, but still being able to kind of take advantage of this market is totally fine. And small dollar cost averages and stuff is still okay in my opinion. So overall, I think the market's looking healthy. I think it's looking pretty damn good, especially after the news that we just got. So let's now shift into the news. Now, guys, don't forget, I will also let you know if you do want to go check out that Patreon link down below. It's Tyler Hill's Crypto Vault. For $5 a month, you're going to get access to my thoughts and insights, beginners courses, such as a beginner's guide to technical analysis, which I released just last week. You're also, on top of all this, going to be able to get daily fundamental analysis reports, daily technical analysis reports, as you can see in here. Bam and bam. And then on top of that, guys, if you do want to check out the premium membership, you're going to get weekly premium lessons with Tyler Hill. I have one coming out tomorrow. Me and my good friend Sam from the My Financial Friend channel created a 5 keys to bull market investing video. If you want to check that out, again, that's coming out tomorrow. Weekly workshops with other coaches that I've hired to be on the server, professional trade signals, and more. So there's a bunch of stuff down there. So go down to that link in the Patreon down below if you have been finding this content valuable, and go check that out for me. Now, moving into the news. Okay. What we can see here, the only news that matters, quite frankly, right now, there was some decent news over the last couple days, but this is where it's really at. MicroStrategy has just bought another 55,000 Bitcoin for $5.4 billion. Now, it's funny because he was hinting at this. On Monday, he said, who's buying $3 billion worth of Bitcoin on Monday morning? And everybody was like, dude, stop bluffing. Like, don't start this whole Elon Musk-esque fib thing. You remember when Elon Musk would kind of like just shake the market for no reason back in 2021? He would just say shit, and it would cause the market to go all over the place. Well, Michael Saylor was lying a little bit, but he was not lying in a bad way. Whereas they came out and they bought $5.4 billion worth of Bitcoin instead of $3 billion. Now that puts them at 386,000 Bitcoin worth $37 billion, which is just absolutely insane. And as a result of that, we actually saw that Bernstein has said that MicroStrategy's treasury model is unprecedented and will attract billions in capitals looking for Bitcoin exposure, then raising their price target to $600,000 or $600,000, my word, to $600. Now remember, Bernstein is the one who came out and started calling that a lot of these companies in the US and countries were going to start using Bitcoin as a strategic reserve weeks before we started seeing all the news coming out. So if they think that MSTR can hit $600, and considering the fact that MicroStrategy stock is only at $421, I mean, I start to kind of believe that. And I do think that they have some of the best predictions that I've seen from analysts. And so I give them a lot of props. And so that news is absolutely insane. Michael Saylor doesn't give a shit, dude. He's just going to keep doubling down and tripling down. He's either going to go up to the moon or down to the bottom of the sea with this bad boy because he got it on his mind. And so I think this is insane news. It speaks for itself. And so overall, that's the catch up for today. I mean, overall, everything is looking pretty good. Bitcoin's looking good, consolidating. General market a little hot right now, but not overheated in my opinion. And then obviously MicroStrategy coming in, smashing it, getting a new updated price prediction from Bernstein at $600, which is still up a good bit from where they are right now. It's $180 more. It's like, what, I think 30%, 40% gain from here. So fantastic. And so overall, of course, I hope you guys do enjoy these catch-ups. I want to at least be posting, 3 or 4 of these a week, just keeping you updated on the major things that are happening in the market, the major shifts that are happening. I do have a main channel down below if you do want daily technical analysis. And while you are down there, again, don't forget to check out a few things. The first one being the fact that you can trade on BTCC and get that 10% bonus. The second one being you can go check out that Patreon if you want even more content from me on a daily basis. And so with that in mind, of course, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I can't wait to see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.